East women's basketball fans. Ashley Liotis and Megan Caffrey with you here. Welcome into a fresh episode of Fast Break. It's a really exciting time, just over 2 weeks away from conference play. However, the Big East women's basketball teams have been doing an unbelievable job in the non-conference play. Ashley, what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's very exciting. First of all, I'm excited to be here for Fast Break. But, conference play, like you said, is getting very close. I think a lot of teams are kind of figuring out exactly who they are in this conference this season. We've seen a lot of changes from last season, especially for DePaul. Right now, I mean, they had high expectations coming in, but they're sitting at that 5-game win streak. Their only loss right now is to number 7, Oregon State. So that's a huge deal. They're ranked number 16 nationally, which is, such a proud thing for them to be right now, especially ahead of conference play. They're really going to be a team to watch for me.
And we'll get more into Creighton and Marquette, who are also off to hot starts just in a little bit, but partially why these teams are off to such great starts are because of some fantastic freshmen who are on the rosters this season. They have just been so incredibly exciting to watch. 4 freshmen right now are averaging in double figures. Maddie, let's take a look at Ashley, let's take a look at the first one, Maddie Siegrist.
Yes, Maddie. She's on the minds of all of us here in the Big East. So first of all, she's coming out of Villanova. She actually redshirted last season, so it was a chance for her to kind of sit back and learn from a lot of extremely talented women. She's leading the Big East in scoring with 20.3 points per game on that average.
Now let's take a look at Marquette. Jordan King, the freshman guard, coming in. She had a career-high 18 points in the Golden Eagles win over Milwaukee. And the thing with her is she's able to just make timely buckets.
Yeah, that's going to be huge for them here shortly. Now over to Seton Hall, Maya Jackson. She's averaging 10.2 points a game. And get this, Megan, 10 steals so far this season. We're not even in conference play yet. And against UConn, this girl has no fear. She scored 21 points against them.
Another Pirate who has no fear is Maya's counterpart, Lauren Park Lane. She had 11 points in the Pirates game against UConn. And the thing with Lauren is that when you look at her, she's just a true point guard to that definition. She leads the team in assists with 40. She had 0 turnovers in the Pirates game over UConn, so you can just see it there. She's really good at handling the ball.
And a big leader, too. Leilani Correa coming out of St. John's. Now, get this, Megan. Over in high school, she went to Manchester in New Jersey. She averaged 16.8 points per game in high school. Right now, not that far off. She's averaging 14 points per game, and she scored a career-high 33 points against Army on Monday. Yeah, that was just in one game.
Let's turn to Umu Torre over at Butler right now. She got her first start of the season 2 games ago in the Dogs' win over Ohio. And what a way to cap that off. She finished with a double-double, 13 points, 12 rebounds. She's second in freshman in rebounding in the conference right now, and she might not be the tallest. She stands at 5'11", but she really is able to just get underneath and get those rebounds when it's important for her team.
Yeah, and conference play, of course, starting up soon. We've seen a lot of these freshmen right now, but I think, where they're really going to blossom, and this comes for a lot of teams and a lot of players, is that conference play. I'm so excited to see a lot of these freshmen
as we all
stand out. Yeah, and you actually got a chance to talk to one of them. We mentioned Maddie Siegrist. We talked to her earlier today, Megan, you did, kind of about her success so far and what that's going to mean for the future. Let's take a listen in.
Villanova redshirt freshman forward Maddie Siegrist is not only leading her team in scoring, but the conference as I welcome the Big East Freshman of the Week into Fast Break. Maddie, you're averaging just under 20 points per game. How does the motion offense that your Villanova team runs really attributing to your success?
Well, the motion is great. I've never really ran a system like this before, and just the constant movement is able to just open so many things up, whether that's like driving or shooting the 3 and putting everyone in the right position to get offensive boards and stuff like that.
You mentioned it right there a little bit, shooting the 3. You do lead your team in 3-pointers made. How would you describe yourself as a shooter?
Well, this is kind of weird, but in high school I only had 12 career high school 3s, and last year, when I was hurt, that was one of the things, Coach Pareto was like, this is what you should work on. You should really work on shooting the 3, and because of our motion offense, we're able to shoot the 3 so much. Now I just have the opportunity to do it, and my teammates they say great screen, so you get open on it.
You had a career-high 29 points in your team's win over Fordham. What was clicking for you in this game?
Well, I knew like that was my first game like starting, so I was like a little nervous about that, and like being home in New York, I had a lot of my family there, so I knew like I had to bring it, and the way they were guarding, I just kept getting open, and Mary actually said to me, she's like, just keep taking it until eventually they stop it, and then we'll look for something else.
What's the dynamic like between you and Mary?
Mary's great. I mean, she's been a great leader. She's really taken me under her wing. Like, she came to me like in the beginning of the year, like we were short on numbers, and pretty much said like you're gonna have to step up. You can't really play like a freshman. I know like this is your first year playing, but you have to step up. And she's helped me so much, like learn the cuts and stuff like that. And so is Bridget, Cameron, and Raven. They've really been so helpful with like helping me get acclimated to the offense and stuff like that.
How would you describe your team's personality this year? Every team has a characteristic. How would you describe it?
Definitely like a family. Everyone's like so close, and like we were always like hanging out off the court, like doing homework, like conference room, like every single day we're all like together. Like we make a lot of TikToks. I don't know if you know what those are, but that's what everyone loves to do.
What is the what is the one TikTok that is the favorite that you guys have done? I need to go on. Is this on Villanova Twitter? I need to go check these out.
I gotta see it on Twitter, but we made one and we actually had Coach Joe do it. He was able to get in one. I forget. He said like if we won, he would do it, and when we won, he learned it in like a day. We're still working on getting Coach Beretta to do one, but hopefully soon.
You gotta get him to go viral. Maddie, you earned the USBWA's National Freshman of the Week honor back on November 19th. That was the first ever award of that you received. How cool of a moment was that for you?
That was really cool. I'm just so thankful for the opportunity to like be playing here, and you know that our team like we started winning a little bit, and hopefully we'll just keep that going. But it was awesome. I like definitely took a moment to like reflect on it and just be grateful for the opportunity.
Your head coach, Harry Peretta, is in his final season at the helm of the Wildcats. You mentioned trying to get him in one of your TikToks, which we're hoping to by the end of the season. But what are some of the goals that this team hopes to accomplish for Coach Peretta in final season?
I mean, definitely like just give it everything we got and like play hard, and like we're definitely not the most talented team he's ever had, and just every single game, just like make it memorable and like do everything. Like he's so close with all of us. Like I don't know any other like head coach that you just like pop into his office and be like, "Hey coach, can you tell me a story?" And they'll sit there for 2 hours and just go on and on and on. But he's been great with like teaching us so many things, and like especially now since he knows this is his final season, he's been able to just like try to really help us learn as much as we can before he retires.
Maddie, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the season.
Oh, thank you so much.
Villanova women's basketball, you have to send us that TikTok because Ashley and I, we have no idea how to TikTok. How do you do it? Do we create a dance? Do we do like a little thing?
You know, let's go on TikTok and like create a. We should create a
Watch
video.
out, Big East is gonna have their own TikTok account. That will be trending.
Yeah, and listen, I think also one of my favorite things is what Maddie said. Their team is like a family, which you can tell. They're doing TikTok videos, whatever the terminology is. They're doing that sort of stuff off the court, so that family feel translates to on the court too. So I think that's really, going to be helpful for them in the future, especially as freshmen come in. You're kind of in that awkward position. I think that's going to help translate on the court as well. So moving on now, some of this other surprising hot starts that we've been talking about a little bit. Creighton and Marquette. I want to start with Creighton though. Right now 7-2. That's their best start since the 2000-2001 season. Some of these girls and women were just being born that year, if you can believe it. But all right, should we have seen this coming? I don't know. They're the only Big East team to have taken down the top 4 teams in the conference last season, including the regular season champ Marquette and, of course, the tournament champ DePaul. So I think 2 big pieces to that puzzle is going to be Jalen Agnew. She has 23 points in the first half against West Virginia. Just in the first half, not the whole game. And another big piece to that puzzle is Temi Sarda right now. Actually, against Nebraska, she had 18 points. And then in Omaha, both road games, she had 25 points. So big standout players there for Creighton. And right now, they're only 2 losses as a team come against teams that are receiving votes in national polls. So that's something to be proud of.
And partially why they're ranked number 8 in the new RPI that just came out. So it's really exciting. And Ashley, you mentioned a little bit why it might be a little bit surprising for people to see these two programs doing so well. And that's because both programs, Creighton and Marquette, lost big-time seniors. With Creighton, they lost Audrey Faber last season. And Marquette, they lost 5 1,000-point scorers from last season. Yes, and now Marquette is under new head coach Megan Duffy, and we're so used to seeing this Marquette team offense is what we've thought about it in the past, but this season, Ashley, their defense is just standing out. It's a new era of Marquette basketball. Get this, they're second in the league in scoring defense, holding opponents on average to just over 58 points per game.
Yeah, and how about this stat? This kind of jumped out at me, researching them and talking about them. We've seen them a lot on the road, also some home games, of course, in the non-conference. They're the only team in the Big East to have not lost on the road. That is quite the feat. In any sport, in any conference, road games are always one of the hardest things because you don't have your fans there, you don't have your crowd there, it's just your team, and you really have to hone in on each other. So that's one of the hardest things to do, and to not have lost on the road as of yet is a huge deal for them.
And that's something that the Golden Eagles are going to hope to take into Big East play, because we say it time and time again that this conference is really just a grind, and you want to win as many road games as you can in the Big East.
Right, especially as far as Seton Hall goes and that UConn game, it was we got to get used to this matchup because at some point Seton Hall and all these other Big East teams are going to be on the road in Connecticut starting next season. Now this matchup was earlier this month. They were Seton Hall actually ended up losing this game 78-92, but they did put up a good kind of fight.
Oh, they did. And you look back at that game, after the first quarter, Seton Hall was actually leading 28-19. We mentioned the two freshmen a little bit earlier. Maya Jackson, as you saw her with the 3 there, and Lauren Parkling, they just came out. And it was Shadeen Samuel's first game back after a hamstring injury. She really did provide that spark. And so I think when you if you're head coach Tony Bozzella at the end of the day, your takeaways are really positive from that game. You have to be proud of the fight that your team put up.
Right, especially in front of a sold-out crowd at Walsh Gym, which I'm sure was just electric. But at the end of the day, UConn out-rebounded the Hall 45-24, and that's not something that you can let happen if you want to put up a win against UConn.
That's definitely true. Now let's take a look at some of the games that we have to look forward to the rest of this week, heading into the weekend as we are winding down non-conference play. Ashley, I know you're excited for this DePaul Notre Dame game tonight.
Yes, I am very excited for this one. DePaul on the road at Notre Dame tonight. That's at 6:30. Now, Notre Dame is only 2-3 at home, so DePaul is going into this one with a little bit of an advantage there.
And then I'm looking at St. John's heading out to Tallahassee, Florida State,
warm
number
weather.
8. Yeah, all right, I'll take that this time of the year. On Sunday, the Johnnies are just coming off that huge win against Army. They do have some time off a little bit before Sunday, so you're hoping to use that time to rest and then get back on the road and hopefully get that win, that upset.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, though, down at FSU. Coach Sue, the longest active head coach at FSU right now in her 23rd season. So, with a legend like that, it's going to be a tough one. But, on the road, you can learn a lot about your team in situations like that.
And then December 29th kicks off Big East Women's Basketball
so
Conference
excited.
play. We are so excited. Ashley, this is going to be your
I
first
know,
conference
I'm excited,
play.
yeah.
What are you most excited about seeing these teams in action?
So I'll give you a little bit of history. I most recently covered some teams in the SEC. So down in SEC country, lots of good basketball down there as well. I was covering a lot of LSU. But, my favorite thing is the game stays the same, right? It's the conferences, the teams. You get to see a lot of these different players and different coaches. And I think, especially with UConn coming into the Big East next season, we kind of have our eyes in a lot of different areas right now as far as teams, that is coming into the conference next season. But we have a solid group of schools right now in this conference. Yeah. And I think what's going to surprise me and surprise a lot of folks out there is I think you got to expect the unexpected. We've seen it with Marquette. They were ranked a little bit low in that coaches poll coming in. They lost a lot, but that's one of my favorite things about covering college sports is every year you lose top athletes. You lose seniors. You lose fifth-year seniors that are coming out. They're moving on with their lives, whether they go in a basketball direction, wherever it may go. But then the team has to come together adopt new people into that program. So just seeing some of these freshmen that we talked to Maddie, and we talked a lot about them. It's kind of seeing them adapt and grow throughout the conference. I think this is really where they're going to be able to grow and kind of figure out exactly who they are and what their place is on the team.
And the exciting thing to think of is we're seeing these freshmen right now. How much are they going to grow and how much fun are they going to be to watch come March? So
we're going to be talking
really
a lot about them, I think, throughout the season.
And you can catch all of the Big East women's basketball games on the Big East digital networks. Big East women's basketball fans, welcome Ashley into the family. She is here.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Lots of good basketball up here in the Northeast.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Fast Break. For Ashley Liotis and Megan Caffrey, we'll see you next time.